Welcome to my channel, Test Automation with Himanshu. Hope you are doing well. We are going to talk about a interview question asked, explain automation framework. So I thought of creating a video on it. So while answering this question, we need to be a little bit organized because most of the time candidates start telling the things from here and there, and it becomes very difficult for interviewer to understand what exactly he is trying to explain. So like you can start answering this question by explaining like which particular automation framework you are using, like is it a hybrid framework or pdd framework or a tdd framework. And after that you can explain the framework in three parts, like components, layers, and tools. So components are something which a particular automation framework is capable of doing, like it should have building capability. My automation framework would be having page management. It would be capable of handling test execution. Automation framework would be capable of doing data management, and after the execution it would be able to handle the reporting and logging part, and if required, integration with CI/CD. So how we would be doing these things and how we would be achieving the components that we have defined here, it's a separate story, but an ideal automation framework should have all these components. Next, you can define the automation framework in different layers. Like a framework can have, we can segregate a framework in four layers. At the bottom, we would be having core util layer where all the utility files would reside, and then we would have our page object layer that would be handling using the Selenium page object model, and then we have our test layer that would we can handle using test ng test runner, and then we have business layer. So if in case of bdd we are handling the scenario files in simple plain English language using gherkin, so that stakeholders can get to know what exactly we are doing in test automation. Next, you can explain about the tools you are using in different layers. So for building tools, we are using Maven or Ant we can use. For UI automation, Selenium tool we can use. Test runner we can use TestNG. If it is a BDD framework, we can use Cucumber. CI/CD required, we can use Jenkins. You can explain about the reporting using Allure or Extend report. And for the repository purpose, we can use Git. So I have summarized all these three things into one picture. As you can see, at the bottom we have core util layer, then we have page object layer, then we have test layer and business layer. So this test ng is getting scenarios from bdd, page elements from Selenium, test data, and then executing all these three things and executing the reports. And at the bottom we have our Maven build tool and other utilities files. Further, you can explain these tools in more details, like Maven as a build tool. There is a file name pom.xml project object model. The purpose of this file is to provide dependency section and build section. So it has two sections where we in the dependency section we maintain the dependencies for the libraries we are going to use, like testng dependency and Selenium dependency. And in the build section we have plugins that solve the purpose of execution, like Maven compiler plugin, Maven Surefire plugin. And the structure of the Maven project is like source main and source test. So our automation test resides in source test folder. In this folder, we again to have two subfolders, Java and resource. So in Java, we have our test execution files, and in resource folder we have resources file like utility files or some sort of JSON files. Further, you can explain the page handling using the page object model. So Selenium provides a page factory class for handling the page object to implement the page object model. It provides annotations like find by, find all that we use to define the page element and init elements method. So the main purpose of page object model is to segregation of page elements and test cases. So for every possible page we can have in a application, we would be having a separate page for it, and the element locators and the actions that we are performing on those locators would resides in the page.java file, and the tests would resides in the test.java file. And in the test file we would be calling the method that we have created in page file. So here you can see that home page Java, login page Java, and home test Java and login test Java. We have these this sort of structure in the page object model. Next, you can also explain about the test runner, which is also again the main part of a framework. So here we have used testng. So testng framework provides testng XML file that we use to create different suites. We can handle the parallel execution parameterization using testng XML. It also provides annotations like at the rate test, before test, method, after method to you know to create some sort of suits like structured execution of our test cases. Further, it provides assertions that we use to validate the application behavior if we have to validate something from the expected behavior. It also provides listeners that we use to take a screenshot and to generate reports. Further, you can explain about different features of the framework apart from what the architecture we have defined. Like if required, we can have capability of executing the failed test cases, and we can implement the Selenium grid if we have to execute our test cases in different OS browser combinations. We can have the capability of headless execution, external file handling, DB automation, and API integration in some point of time. So that's how you can answer this question. But you one thing you need to keep in mind that this should be complete within 6 to 7 minutes, because I mean you should be very crisp and clear on while answering this particular question, because interviewer has to cover other topics as well, and you should mention only things and the areas where you are very confident, right? So thank you, and if you like the content and the video, please do like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.